Imagine owning a 12-year-old SaaS business that runs almost on autopilot. This is exactly what I am covering in today's video. This one is a click fraud prevention tool with long history, recurring revenue, and untapped growth potential. In this video, I'm covering this $22,000 SaaS business to see if this is a smart buy. We look into the numbers, hidden risk, and how a strategic buyer can scale this business quickly. My name is Shlomo Freund, and on this channel, I help you discover passive income ideas and opportunities by buying websites and online businesses. Every time I analyze an interesting deal that I find, breaking it down so you'll understand what is a great investment. And today we're looking at Click Report. That's a fraud prevention SaaS platform. It's been around for 12 years, but only has 30 active subscribers. Is this a hidden opportunity or a risky deal? So stay with me and we'll find out. I'll show you the strength of this deal, the red flags you need to know, and whereas this $22,000 asking price is justified. Hey everyone, we're at another listing review and I'm hosting again Ross Gerson from DealSlide. We used his platform to find this deal and I'm very happy to host him here again. Thank you, Ross.
Thank you, Shlomo. Good to be back.
We're saving a lot of time when we're using DealSlide, so thank you for that. So we searched around for something relevant and interesting, and this is what we came up with. This is called Click Report. We already like the name, right? And that is an automated click fraud detection, prevention, and real-time reporting for all PPC solutions, block fraudulent traffic from wasting your budget instantly. So this basically aims website owners who run PPC ads, I assume in Google, but maybe on other platforms as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I think like you said, interesting name. Click Report sounds pretty solid. And like you said, I think it's a tracking tool to help you see fraudulent clicks. I personally don't have too much experience running paid advertising, but I imagine, you want to maximize your budget and not waste money in ad spend. So this looks like a tool that helps you track your different landing pages, see if there's clicks that are coming there that might be fraudulent to help you your ad spend. And yeah, seems like a solid business based in the States and around for 12 years, which is like a dinosaur for an internet business like this. Subscribers.
Yeah, so this is something that I'm actually, once you see this for the first time, we are looking at this just for a few minutes now. A business that exists for 12 years and has only 30 active subscribers makes you wonder what they did those years. Either it was just on autopilot, which is then amazing because it's just passive income, or they just did something, I don't know. Why didn't they work on this? It makes you wonder. So we need to see more about that. Also,
yeah,
the revenue.
Looking at the listing page, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, it kind of, explains what the tool does, but there's really no information about the background of the business. Like you mentioned, 12 years is a long time. So I think, learning a bit about when the business was started, the whole kind of story over the past 12 years and how we got here today, like you mentioned, with 30 paying customers. It says it's $29.99 per month, but those numbers don't exactly add up to the current revenues. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be discovered here.
This is a $29.99 Ross is referring to. Before we jump into the text and the listing itself, I want to go through some of the around $430 a month of profit, which brings a profit multiple of 4.3. Over here, it has 5% churn. They're asking for $22,000 over here. This listing already has 39 views and 10 people watching. Now, we use DealSlide, and this listing is 6 days old now that we're recording this video. Already 10 watchers. That's a nice number. So people are definitely interested in this. Also, let's look at the seller. Pierre from the United States is an experienced C-level executive with several successful exits. Currently acquiring, consolidating small niche website businesses in the online space. But he's actually selling this one. So he's not only acquiring, he's now selling. You can see that he's very active. He has 9 watch. Okay, let's go back to the listing itself. Yeah, let's start reading. We got this graph with the revenue. It's down, but then it kind of, it's not dead. It's just from here, maybe there was a peak. We can't really tell. And the last data point we have here is from January 25. $330. The page views, it's 647, but that's only from February 24. So I'm not sure why they're missing the data here, the data point here of only adding it a year ago. Or maybe it's from this month. They just made a mistake with integrating this with the Flip a deal. It's hard to tell. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, as I was saying before, I think a lot of history to get a hold of with the 12 years of, business history according to the listing page, but, they're only being the past 12 months of that revenue. And like you shared, just potentially 1 month of traffic. So yeah, I would get in touch with the seller, kind of learn about the background, get added to Google Analytics to see the trend over, as long of a period as you can, and also ask about revenue and profit and the financials for the business, more than just what you see here. But I also agree with you. It's nice to see that the seller has some history and all positive feedback, and they're active and have done deals before. And it's always nice for me being local to the USA. It's always an extra level of comfort when you do a deal with someone that's based in the States as well, even though, I've done business and deals with people from all over the world when doing online business transactions like this. It's just really nice that they're in the same place and same time zone. It makes the transition a lot easier as well.
It's I was just about to say it's another level of confidence. So you're right. What do you want to add?
Yeah, no, it's my bad. I need to pause a little bit before getting into the next point. Sometimes I get excited and get a lot of thoughts when I run through these businesses and look at them. So another thing you said previously is the business was 6 days old, which is true for the general market at Flippa. I believe this is the case. I could be wrong, but Flippa has early access where if you're paying a subscription, you get listings 21 days before it goes onto the general market. Currently at DealSlide, where you're getting all Flippa deals after that are off of the first access and become part of the general market. So this is actually, 6 days old plus the 21 days on first access, where, it could have some momentum of buyers that have looked at it already that could be included in those 10 watchers and views. And I did actually talk to a friend recently that bought a deal using first access and they didn't let it get to the general market. So I think part of the reason this deal looks kind of nice on paper first glance, but it's missing so much information. I think it makes it difficult for someone that is a buyer and is not extremely proactive, that's going to go out, reach out to the seller and learn about all these key details. It makes it really hard to pull the trigger quickly and easily because of all that lacking information. So a little bit of a ramble, I think, in a long-winded way of saying the business was at 27 or 28 days old because of success feature.
Okay, let's read what they're saying, what the effort they did to sell this. So Click Report is a state-of-the-art click fraud prevention service designed to optimize your PPC ad budget and shed light on the visitor traffic. With informative reports and features, Click Report is the only ad monitoring service that gives you complete insight for only $30 a month. Monitor your pay-per-click ads from all sponsored search provider. Click Report records and tracks PPC, IP addresses, tag value traffic, referring websites, search keyword users used, PPC visitors, geographic info. Okay, this is all the features of the business. They monitor your landing pages. You can see that here. And then let's see if they say anything more interesting about this. They giving you all the features to track data on all clicks for up to 25 pages. So a buyer, I wonder how much going into all the features of a website is actually important when you want to sell that. Because the first thing I would be interested in is seeing the business information and not so much of the features. This is secondary for me as a buyer, trying to find if this is the right deal for me. What's your take?
Yeah, I think you're 100% accurate. It's interesting. It almost reads like a sales page, like they're looking to find more customers, and explain the features, not like they're advertising to a business buyer. So, our perspective and, people listening to your YouTube show are probably buyers. And like you said, we're looking to weed out businesses and find a good fit as quickly as possible before really digging in. So seeing high level information like, the amount of users, it doesn't even really say how this was built. So we don't know what technology this was built on. So you really have no idea how capable you or I would be to take over this and maintain the business. Have no idea what kind of the migration or transfer of the asset would look like, because it doesn't, I don't think, unless we missed it, really explain much about how this was built and the basic kind of business details like the financial metrics and things like that, that give it the complete picture. So Yeah,
But
you're
we-
right. I think it makes it a bit difficult looking at it from a buyer's lens. And this almost reads more like a sales page or website where you talk about the features of the business.
If you
I think
still
it makes
have-
it hard. Yeah. And I think it's a good example of, especially in a marketplace like Flippa, where it could be self-directed and there's less advisory from one end, either on the buyer or seller
Mhm.
side. Flippa obviously does have levels for different types of service, but in a situation like this, where it looks like it's a seller on their own, I think there's a huge advantage, to a buyer that is savvy and, proactive and can roll their sleeves up and, ask the right questions, because this could be a diamond in the rough. Like we said, a 12-year-old business, it's SaaS, they own the customer. It seems like they're not dependent on, a lot of the businesses we see are dependent on Google traffic or, one channel, and they don't own the customer data, where this is an actual product that seems useful with low churn. So could be a great business, but it's hard to tell with the information provided. So it makes it
Right.
difficult, and I think really puts the advantage in obviously the more savvy buyer.
buyers. Let's see how much of the features part. So it's detect the IP addresses. That's still not business related. Unique visitor ID. Stay on top of your PPC provider. Billing. Okay. Block the bad traffic. So everything here is features. Oh, that's interesting. We're selling this business, as we have not been able to dedicate time to manage it and generate marketing activity, as we have several other ongoing projects and limited staff. Someone with some time and marketing skills could easily expand the business. So that's basically almost the only business thing they're saying about this business. Let's look at the revenue and expenses. That's of course very interesting. It's basically the same graph at the top, where the last data point we have is $330. I find it interesting that December and January had the same amount of profit. It just that means that there aren't too many customers coming and going, I assume, at least at the last few months. Over here, there's some fluctuation. You see that. Something definitely happened here, right? From March to April. Why they lost 40% of their revenue? Have they made a change at the product? Was there somebody who is giving this service for free maybe? Although they are very proud to say that it's the only tool that gives it for $29.99, but it could be that others give it for free. So I don't know, but this graph definitely raised some questions and some insights.
On their website as well, looks like there's just one option for $29 pricing. I think they have an
What, on their
affiliate
website?
program as well.
Let's look at the
Click
website.
Also interesting, like you said,
Right.
kind of like sale information that's useful is bare at the bottom of all that text without a bold headline like everything else, So I completely missed that until you brought up the part of why they're selling. But even that, you need to double click onto it and learn, everything that kind of goes into that, because that was very vague in terms of why they're selling and what's going on. I think this is a prime example of one where you want to, maybe ask some high level questions to get a feel for the business over message and build some rapport, and then go to a call, or just go straight into a introductory call with the seller to learn about the business and you get the necessary data points that you need to dig into due diligence. But my instinct is actually it could be interesting. I think it would maybe be worth that if this is something that maybe you're a marketing agency and you find this useful. Again, you mentioned maybe there's something to this where the data, is pretty easily accessible and you don't need this tool, which is maybe why it's not that useful. Again, I'm not a marketing expert and I haven't done a lot of paid marketing myself. So, but yeah, it seems like it could be interesting for the right buyer.
Okay, let's look at the financials. Annual revenue is 5,400 and annual profit is 5,100. So it's a large profit margin, but the multiple is still very high. So they're selling this for 22,000. It's only making for $30 a month, which make it at the monthly multiple of around, it's like almost 50, around 50x month, which is, even for a SaaS, is pretty high these days. What do you think?
Yeah, but it really depends on lots of different things. And as I was kind of saying before, I think it being bought by someone that has a strategic advantage to this, or has customers that do a lot of ad spend, and this could be useful for. But if you're looking at kind of comparing it to basic kind of multiples for businesses of this size and, scale, then yes. But again, it's 12 years old. They own the customers, as opposed to it being something like a ad business, affiliate, Amazon FB, like the last one that we reviewed. So I think, depending on what you learned about the business, it, could be worth that price, but comparing it to others, it is a little bit rich.
Okay, expenses, domain registration, $1 a month, hosting, $10 a month, negligible. Google Analytics, something here where the setup is pretty weird. Only 1 month, something as the seller. Get the Google Analytics viewing account so you can actually see the numbers over time. That's very, very important. So from seeing so many of these in Flippa, I know that these numbers, 2 hours on a website or almost 3 hours, 0.57% of engagement rate is actually an error when you are installing the Google Analytics on your website, and then you get these numbers. Flippa, read that. Definitely something with the setup there, which wasn't right. So ignore this and this. And you got the engagement statistics, 644 page views and 252 users. And we have only data point of 1 month. Let's see what else we have. This monetization method, subscription. We know that product and services use Google Analytics. We know that, but probably need to dig more into that. Do I get domains, email, unique content, website files, brand assets, unique design? I gotta say something about this design. Looks pretty old. 12 years old, not 12, but probably 5 years old. I would change that. Post-sale support included. Make sure you know what exactly that support includes. We have social media accounts, so 1,000 email subscribers, about how engaged they are and who they are. If it's an old list, it's probably worthless. So you need to make sure you're actually getting something valuable here with these 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, no comments here at the bottom, so you can't really know. People have not asked any questions. Ross, what else in your mind with this?
I'm kind of just a broken record here, but it's a tough one without a lot of the data that you would normally see on a listing page about kind of why they're selling the business and what technology is used, and maybe more thorough analytics regarding traffic and customers and financials. So I would start there, but I think it's potentially interesting. Advertising space, paid marketing is a big one and ever growing. I would be curious if this business, was serving customers that were using, AdWords, or what exactly kind of paid advertising they're using. It sounds like it's just tracking landing pages, but curious if it can help kind of across the board and what the customers look like. I think there's potentially a diamond in the rough here. Probably if it was really a diamond in the rough, it would have sold within the 21 days of first access. I have no idea how many people pay for first access. So I guess that's a little bit of an ignorant statement of mine, but that's my gut instinct, a scenario where because there's that lack of information, it's going to take a lot longer to sell, which presents an opportunity for a buyer that's going to actually reach out and get the information from the seller. Because I think, most like ourselves, even if they think it's interesting, there's so many deals out there, they're going to dismiss it because it's lacking some information that they might need. So I would encourage any buyer that thinks this is potentially in their wheelhouse to be proactive about it, to reach out to the seller and to learn more about the business and go from there.
Okay, I want to mention one growth tactic that you can use when you're buying this website. So one of them is, as you mentioned, if you already have an agency or a website, definitely that's interesting. But another win there is buying a email list of people who are doing internet marketing and then market this solution to them. They'll all be interested in such a solution. And this is how you can jump very fast from this 30 subscribers, of course, depends on the list, to higher numbers, probably to around 70% of it, to make the profit multiple more reasonable, probably around, I'd say 35. So with a 35 multiple, again, just an estimate, we're talking here about 15-ish thousand, and don't get me if this is not exactly the number, let's say 15,000, and you are, let's say, with buying an email list, you may be making just 10 more clients. That will already increase your revenue by another around, the 30,000. It will almost double the profit on this one, right? Because it's $30 per client, and this is, so it's around $100 more. It's almost double. Okay, let's say this will be 700 something. So this is a growth tactic you can use if you want to uplift this website and kind of recuperate your investment faster. And I would definitely also renegotiate this price. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with both of those. I think it's a good solution. It should be one that's easy to get in front of more marketers and more people. It seems like it solves a problem. So I guess part of it would be when you dig into the business to make sure it's a solution that people need and they're using, and learn about kind of what the competitors look like and what it would cost to figure this out without them. And then I also agree with your statement about negotiating. I mean, most of the time you never know. And I think we talked about this on the last review that, it's such an international market and people are from all over, especially the sellers, and have different expectations for a sale. So sometimes people are very open, sometimes they're very stern with their sale price, but this one, flat out tells you on the listing page that they're open for negotiation. So I think you'd be a little foolish not to negotiate because it's, he's pretty much asking you to. And then another thing we mentioned is we kind of just discovered it's on the market for roughly 30 days, approaching 30 days by now. So I think that's also, an opportunity to leverage that in the negotiation as opposed to it, like when on DealSlide it says 6 days, but we had that conversation about first access. So we kind of know it's been a bit longer. So I agree with you on both of those statements. Yes.
I think we're done with this one. We said a lot. So Ross, thank you very much for joining, and I'll see you next time. I'll keep looking at the DealSlide for more deals. Huge time saver. Thank you.
And I guess a quick promo of DealSlide. If you are interested in tracking this specific listing, you can add it to your watch list at DealSlide after you create an account. And for free, we'll send you a weekly update with any updates on the listing, if the seller's changed the price or if it's gone off the market or if anything has been changed. And we're soon launching a pro user account where you will be able to get daily updates of any changes to the listings, like a change in price or if it goes off market, offer accepted, etc. And also easy access with one click to see any of the changes over time for a listing. So let's say this one stays on the market for another 2-3 months. We'll be able with one click to see all the changes over those 2 or 3 months. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, either on LinkedIn at Ross Gerson or go to dealslide.com and reach out from there.
Okay. I apologize for the viewers. My video for some reason just turned black. I'm not sure why. Anyway, I'll see you next time, and thank you for joining. Cheers.
Thanks.
As promised, here's a smart growth tactic you can use if you buy this SaaS business. Instead of waiting for slow organic growth, buy an email list of PPC marketers, people who already run ads and need a solution like this. Just 10 extra customers could almost double the revenue of this business, making this deal far more profitable. This strategy is how smart digital investors turn small, underperforming businesses into high return investments faster. Now, if you want more videos like this, check the description below where I've linked a playlist of other digital assets breakdown. You can find a few there. And if you're serious about buying a digital asset, join my free newsletters, Remote Revenues. That one, the description will be also down below. You get exclusive deal insights and expert strategies when you join. Also, let me know in the comments what kind of deals you're looking for and would like me to cover in this channel. I'd love to know, and maybe I'll cover your requests. Don't forget to subscribe to the next video. I'll see you the next time. Cheers.